I want to give you 5 reasons why Christians should not celebrate Halloween. And before I give you these 5 reasons, it's only fair that I tell you all how Halloween got started. I'll be brief. Halloween originated in Ireland during the 5th century BC. And ancient Celtic tribes believed back in the days that in between the end of the summer harvest and the beginning of winter, there was a thin veil. And that thin veil was the in-between of darkness and light. And this created an opportunity where the dead from the past could enter into the present world. And it was also known to them, or they called it Samhain. It was a pagan festival, and it was a festival where they thanked their sun god for the summer harvest. And the Celtics celebrated with bonfires, food, and drunkenness as the seasons of cold and darkness were approaching. Many Celtics feared the dead spirits that were returning, looking for revenge on those who had wronged them. And so they would take the ashes from the bonfire and they would cover their faces with soot. And some of them would even go as far as using animal skins. And they would use animal skins over there and put them over their heads to just hide their identity, or to simply, just as they believed they were doing, was to frighten away the roaming spirits or the dead spirits that would come back. In the 7th century, when Rome invaded Ireland, they brought with them the Roman Catholic Church. And of course, the Roman Catholic Church did not approve of this pagan activity named Samhain, or called Samhain. But on November 1st, what the Catholic Church decided to do was they created what we know as today All Saints Day. And they did that on November 1st, as I said, and it was a day of worshiping the Christian martyrs, or those who obviously have been passed in death, but were Christians and served the Lord. But it was a calculated move. They was trying to just bring order into the whole fold, and trying to bring people into the Catholic Church. But it was still paganism. What they were doing was still paganism. I believe they had the right intention, but it just was still not right. And on the eve of All Saints Day, it was called Hallow Mass. This day, November 1st, was called Hallow Mass. Hallow meaning holy or saintly, and Mass meaning large gathering or mass of the saints. October 30th was a preparation day, though, for the Celtics, and they called it Hallows Eve. But eventually, the Catholics and the Celtics, they adopted each other's practice in fear of the Roman law. They really didn't want a problem with Caesar, basically. So they kind of just did what they needed to do to get along. But when human sacrifices were finally outlawed in 61 AD, but the Celtics and the Catholics, they kind of merged together. And therefore, it was called Halloween. You put the two together, it could just formulated Halloween. The first reason now, I told you I was going to give you 5 reasons. The first reason is Halloween is the celebration of the dead. And this is a pagan and demonic holiday. And nowhere in the Bible are we instructed or commanded to celebrate the dead. 1 Corinthians 10 and 21, it reads, "You cannot drink the cup of the Lord and the cup of demons too." You cannot have part in both the Lord's table and the table of demons. Just in case you were wondering, Jesus Christ lived, died, and rose again to life. To life, death could not hold him down. Reason number 2, Halloween is the high holy day for witches, warlocks, Satanists, druids, spells, and curses. It is the one day when the most children go missing, and murder is it exceeds the national statistical rate in one night. Ask yourself the question, as a Christian, Why would you engage in such a holiday that celebrates the dead? Strangely, we don't see any Satanists running to join us on Good Friday. Christians find it hard, though, to give tithes and offerings, but they will spend their money on enormous amount of costumes and designs and lights and candy and fixtures and all kinds of stuff to prepare for this paganist holiday. Number 3, jack-o'-lanterns. Everybody got a pumpkin out in front, right? Well, here's what happened. The Celtic legend has it that there was a man named Stingy Jack, a blacksmith by day and a drunkard by night. Stingy Jack was rude and obnoxious to his own countrymen, a man so mean as if he already had a demon spirit. When Stingy Jack died, he could not get into heaven because of his sinful behavior. And even Satan didn't want him in hell. So Stingy Jack made a deal though with Satan. And the deal was that he would send Stingy Jack back to earth, but he would have to roam the earth out of the body. And so Satan scooped up some hellfire ambers and put them into a hollowed out turnip, so Stingy Jack would be able to see his way as he roamed the earth in the darkness. And a legend was born that Stingy Jack had been seen with a lantern roaming around the earth and through the village in the darkness. Celtics replaced the turnips later on with pumpkins because turnips were just simply too hard to carve out and mimic Stingy Jack during this holiday of theirs. Pumpkins were softer and easier to prepare for such a hellish night. Today they are called jack-o'-lanterns. And over this whole world, people will put jack-o'-lanterns out on their doorsteps of their homes. But what they don't know is Satanists, witches, warlocks, and those who practice black magic describe this as when the jack-o'-lanterns are put in the doorway or on the porch or anywhere leading into the house, it opens up a gateway of hell. The jack-o'-lantern is also known to be welcoming a demonic spirit. Number 4, costumes and masks. Oh boy. Village beggars would go door to door. But before they went door to door, what they would do is they would take the soot from the bonfire, put it over their face, and their face would be black, full of ashes or soot. Excuse me. And then what they would do was, they would use these animal skins, as I had mentioned before, put them over their heads, and they would go door to door. So they figured, hey, listen, if we go to these houses, offer to pray for their relatives to come out of purgatory, maybe they'll give us some food. And if they don't, then we'll just do terrible things to their homes. And that's where the phrase trick or treat came, because what people later on began to do was they made these little cakes called soul cakes, and they would give them to the beggars when they came to the door on the night. And they would give them the soul cakes, and then they would go about their way. But if you didn't give them anything, they would be mischievous to the house. They would, remove gates from farmhouses. They would dismantle wagons, all kinds of stuff, remove steps from front doors. When people would walk out the door and the steps were gone, they would fall and get hurt, all kinds of things. So there is why they get the phrase trick or treat. Number 5, the last but very important. Number 5, candy. Everybody loves candy. But everybody loves candy on Halloween, right? This here is very tough because you have all these witches and warlocks and Satanists and devil worshippers of all kinds, you name it. They spend the entire week before the 31st gathering candy and preparing. And what they do is they pray and put curses on the candy. They do this to gain the territory of more demons. They look to capture Christians. And they know that these children are going to come willingly, knocking on the door. And then what happens is your kid comes to the door, trick or treat, gets the candy, and they take the candy and it comes into your home. And not only comes into your home, but that curse comes into your home. Not only does the curse come into your home, but then your child ingests the candy, and now the child has a curse upon him. Because relatively also, the costume changes the identity of the child, even the person. Adults are trick-or-treating too. So the costume changes the identity. You're participating in a paganist holiday, and you're foregoing your purpose of what God intended you to do. And on top of that, you have now taken this candy with a curse upon it, and now it has infected your home and has affected your child or yourself, but mostly your child. And then you wonder why a week later or a month later or 6 months later, why your child is misbehaving, why your child is not normal or doing the normal things, or just seem to be disruptive, or maybe just having problems or depression. That child is now under a demonic possession. This is real. And we don't want to believe it, but it's real. They do this no different than we as Christians pray for those who need healing, pray for those who are hurting, struggling, those who just need God. We pray. Well, these witches, warlocks, demons, they practice this Wicca, they practice New Age magic, they practice all these things, and they put curses on these items, and these kids come, take them, and bring them home, and we have a problem. My brothers and sisters, I hope that this has been something that you can learn and gain from. Please feel free to go online, look this up, how Halloween began, how Halloween started, the origin of Halloween. Look it up, and you'll find all these things that I mentioned. They will be revealed to you. It's just a matter of looking and doing research, reading, and understanding. But try God first.